Hey guys, we're at the top of the hour and we always start on time. I'm ready to get started and I hope you're ready to get started too. Hello, I'm Mark Carrier and I want to welcome you to the webinar today. Now, we're going to be on for 40 to 60 minutes or so, depending on the number of questions people ask. And before this webinar ends, I'm going to show you how to instantly generate buyer-ready leads that close at over 20% without using list brokers, co-registration leads, or cold calling ever. Now, does that sound good to you? I bet you'd love that, right? My goal is at the end of this webinar, you're going to learn exactly that. And if so, then this webinar would have been a success. Is that fair enough? You excited? And as I promised in the educational video series you went through, for attending this webinar, you'll also receive the Golden Leads Formula Blueprint for designing contests that act as lead magnets that convert. I mean, you'd love that, right? And you'd also be getting the questions to ask when creating an avatar of your ideal customer. So you can more easily create a customer avatar to better understand who your ideal customers are, what they want, and where to find them. That would make things certainly easier for you too, right? And also, you'll get the contest traffic checklist outlining all the marketing channels and touch points you can use to inexpensively drive traffic to your contest. Now, that'd be good to know too, wouldn't it? And you'll also get a great budget template you can use for either lead gen or marketing campaigns to save you a lot of time and energy. Now, that would make things easier too, wouldn't it? Hey guys, if you've got your mobile phone out, if you're on Skype or Facebook, please close them down because I need your attention. Because today we'll be covering a lot. And a little later, I'll be showing you an actual live contest site that converts. But if you're not paying attention, none of this will help you at all. So you need to make sure you're paying attention, okay? Now, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've spent the last 34 years running marketing departments and consulting with major corporations all around the world. I've spoken at international conferences and written many articles and posts about lead generation. And especially having owned a call center myself and spending years developing a lead generation platform, I'm well aware of the difficulties faced generating a consistent flow of high closing leads. And if you're here, I bet you're finding generating that great leads a bit challenging too. Is that right? And I got to tell you, when it comes to lead generation, I've done a lot of things right. And believe me, I've done a lot of things wrong. And after all these years, I've figured out that generating high converting leads doesn't need to be a frustrating or disappointing experience. And the key to higher close rates is acquiring the right consumer intelligence. And the cost of sale is more important than lead cost. Now, I've discovered this the hard way, and you get to cheat and get the easy way. Now, wouldn't that be awesome? Now, here's the hard way I've done it. Firstly, by buying cold lists from brokers. I bet you've done that too, haven't you? In my case, and I'm sure yours, they were expensive and deliver really low close rates, right? And you're probably tired of getting leads from call centers too. And usually they weren't qualified properly. And in my case, they were expensive too. It didn't close all that well either. And if you've bought co-registration leads, you'd find that if you don't call them really quickly, every other business you're sharing these leads with have already called them, and people are just sick of taking all these calls. I mean, that's happened to you, right? Pretty frustrating, isn't it? And of course, that's if you actually get to speak with these leads. And if you do, you're lucky to get it better than a 2 to 3% close rate, right? Want the easy way that does not require to ever cold call again? I mean, wouldn't it be great to call warm leads that have told you which of your products and services they want to buy and when they want to buy them? How much easier would your life be if you got leads like that? A whole lot easier than things are right now, I bet. You'd have a lot less stress and frustration, wouldn't you? Now, over the 34 years generating leads here and around the world, I've learned three secrets about lead generation. Secret one is that all leads are not the same. Secret two was contests are great lead magnets that convert, and probably most surprising, it's easy driving traffic to your contest to acquire high converting leads. And like I said, the first secret I learned is that all leads are not the same. I'm guessing many of you have used or are using list brokers or phone surveys or buying leads from co-registration companies. Am I right? And if you've used any of these lead sources, no doubt you've had some success with them, but typically found that you had lower penetration and lower close rates, and little to no consumer intelligence that helped you understand what your lead wanted and when. With the end result being that it took more calling time and money to make a sale, and that just adds more sales costs, which means you make less money, right? Now, when you have a look at buying a list of, say, 1,000 names from a list broker these days, you have to pay a set fee, which generally you find around $300. And what you pay can range anywhere from $280 to $425 per 1,000 names. But for our example, let's say you only paid $280 a 1,000, so that costs you 58 cents a name. Everybody getting this? Makes sense, right? And when you look at typical results with a name only costing you 58 cents, you find that, you'd close these names at around 1.16%. And yes, some businesses do close a little higher and many don't, but nobody I've talked to have closed better than 2, maybe 3%. Then a name costing you 58 cents that closes at 1.16% would work out to a lead cost of sale of $50. Another lead source out there is from telemarketing companies that sell you survey leads from, say, $250 a lead, providing you buy them in quantity. And if you want exclusive use of these leads, meaning no one else will call them, I've seen the cost go up to $60 a lead. Now, typically $2.50 a lead, these close at around 3 to 5%, depending on what you're selling. So with a survey lead costing you $2.50 that close at $5, that works out to a lead cost of $50 cost of sale. These days, many people are using co-registration leads. You know how these leads are generated, right? Typically you have a publisher that would have a banner ad out on the web somewhere that would say, enter to win to an iPad or a iPhone or something like that. People click onto that, they go to a landing page, they enter their contact details and phone number, and they're told that they have to answer a few survey questions for their entry form to be complete. Click on the submit button, and then they find that there's 15 to 20, 25 different questions that they have to answer, and they could be questions like, would you be interested in reducing your power bills? Would you be interested in finding a cheaper phone provider? Things like that, and there's yes or no answers. And, what people will do is they'll go down the list and they'll check yes or no, depending on their situation, and you find at the end of that, they've probably ticked on 5, 6 or more different yeses. Now, each of these questions are specific questions for a specific client of the publishers, and all those yeses are sent out to that client pretty much in real time. Now, the problem is when somebody's answered 5 or 6 or more yes questions, their lead details are going out to 5 or 6 different companies, and all these companies are calling these people within the first 24, 48 hours. And what happens is people are just getting slammed with all these calls and, not really happy about it. But anyway, let's say you're using those, and let's say you were lucky enough to only have to pay $1 a lead, which would be amazing because I've seen companies pay anywhere from $1.65 up to $8, even $10 for a co-registration lead. And typically these leads close at around 2%. And yes, some businesses do close a little higher, but nobody I've talked to have closed better than 5%. Now, the main reason being is that, as I said, there could be up to 20 different companies getting the same lead at the same time. So if you're not the first or second person to contact the lead, it could be very tough to get them to even talk to you. Then, in this case, a co-reg lead costing you $1 that closes at 2% will work out to a lead cost of sale of $50. Simple math, right? Now, the second secret I learned was that contests are great lead magnets that convert. This happened, when this happened was back in 1988. when I owned a call center with a partner of mine. And in those days, we were setting appointments for prospects to go to a sales presentation for timeshare companies and financial planners. And those days, if the person wasn't qualified to each of our clients' specific needs and also attended a sales presentation, we didn't get paid. And I can tell you, you quickly learned how to get good on the phone under a pay model like that. So we were doing it pretty tough, I have to admit, for the first couple of years until we came across the idea of using contests to generate leads that our team would follow up. So what we did was, put together some great contests. Pretty much holidays was a big thing that worked for us. To fantastic destinations that most people wanted to go to. And then we, created entry boxes and entry slips with survey questions to make sure we could get the qualified information, on each lead to make sure they were qualified. And then what we did was to put these boxes out in high traffic areas like convenience stores and things like that. I'm sure years ago you saw many of these type of boxes. Anyway, in short order, we had like 300 boxes out there covering quite an area. And on average, these boxes were giving us about 10 qualified leads per week. So, we had a stack of great leads, 3,000 leads. And the quality was so good on these leads that our guys, our call operators, they increased their close rate incredibly. To over about 600%. So we were doing 6 times better with these leads than we were with the other leads. And, the beautiful thing about using contests, particularly if your prize resonates with your ideal customer, is that you get to talk to more people than other lead sources because people willingly enter your contest and willingly give you their correct details. Plus, you're not sharing these leads with the same leads with 20 other businesses like you do with co-registration leads. And you make more sales because you've acquired the consumer intelligence needed to achieve higher close rates with your survey questions on your entry form. And when you add these two essential ingredients together, your leads are more profitable because it takes you less time and cost to make a sale. You guys getting this? Does it make sense? Makes sense, doesn't it? It's not that hard. Let me show you. To show you what I mean, let's say we're running a contest and leverage your Facebook account with a lookalike audience that closely mirrors your ideal customer, like one of our clients, Epilepsy Action Australia, does. And I'll be showing you the actual live contest site they're using today to get their high converting leads in a few minutes. Now, excuse me, they've been promoting their contests on Facebook and eventually got their cost per click through to their contest site to around 50 cents a click. And they're getting about 20% of those people that actually get to their contest site actually are entering their contest. And over the last year, they've been closing the leads that they've generated from their contest at between anywhere from 20 to 41%. And they're selling raffle tickets or getting straight out donations. Now, imagine you promoted your contest the same way and your click cost was $1, double what Epilepsy Action has been paying per click. Now, remember, as I said, they got their click cost down to 50 cents a click, right? And let's say you only got 10% of people entering your contest, which is half of what Epilepsy Action Australia has been getting, and a 20% close on those leads, similar to what they've been getting. Then in that case, your lead cost would only be $50 as seen here. Now you might be asking yourself if in all these cost of lead examples I've shown are at $50, what does it matter which lead source you do? Am I right? Well, when you look at what the overall costs associated with these two lead sources, it's not hard to see that the real savings you achieve is with high converting leads, and here's why. In this comparison, you'll see that the presentations per operator hour are the same. But when you look at the time it takes to make a sale based on the different close rates, you quickly see that it takes 5 times longer to make a sale with a co-registration lead than it does with a contest lead. And as the cost per operator hour is the same for both sources, you can see a huge savings per sale with contest leads because it takes a lot less time to make a sale with these type of leads. Now, just imagine how much easier your life would be if you were able to make this type of savings on each of your sales. Wouldn't that be great? Can you see yourself doing that? Now, in a minute, I'm going to show you a real live example of what a contest magnet that converts looks like. But before we go no further, I just want to be really clear that just casually following the steps in this formula is not enough. You need to spend the time to really understand who your ideal customer is so you can use prizes that resonate with them to pull them to you. And you don't want to scare them away by asking too many survey questions on your entry form. And you leverage to drive traffic, you leverage your existing marketing assets to drive your ideal customers to your contests. The third secret I learned was that it's easy to drive traffic to get high converting leads. Especially when you use prizes that really resonate with your ideal customer, and you leverage your existing channels and touch points for little to no cost. Especially if you use Facebook to reach your ideal customers like Epilepsy Action does for only around 50 cents a click with a 20% close rate of the people that enter their contest, which I'm sure you'd agree is a huge improvement compared to the 3 to 5% close rate they used to get using broker lists and co-registration leads. Imagine how much easier life would be if you could easily generate leads that close at over 20%. You could say goodbye to the stress and frustration of meeting your sales goals. Wouldn't that be great? And wouldn't it be wonderful to have more money in your pocket because it took you less time to make a sale? I bet you'd love that, wouldn't you? Or just to go home and not have to worry about sales would take the pressure off, and I bet your family would love that too, wouldn't they? Here's a list of all the different channels and touch points you can easily leverage to drive traffic to your contests for little to no cost. Now, I'm sure that most of you aren't using all these different channels to interact with your ideal customer, and if not, that's okay. Just concentrate on the ones you do and look to expand your reach with those inexpensive channels that make sense, like Facebook. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, but I don't really know how to leverage Facebook, don't worry, I'll be showing you how easy we can make it for you in a little while. Here's some examples of the traffic tools we provide to our clients who use our done-for-you lead gen platform. And the easiest channel you can leverage is your website. We all know that many customers use the internet to research and learn more about those things they're interested in buying. But over 95% of visitors to your website don't buy anything or even leave their contact details, do they? Now, considering all the time and money you've spent driving traffic to your website, you want to capture as many people as you can and find out what they're interested in buying and when they want to buy it, don't you? Well, one way to capture people you're missing out on now is to simply have a contest banner pop up when people click to exit your website, inviting them to enter your contest, like this banner that we provide to our clients to use on their website or with affiliates to drive traffic to their contest site. Now ask yourself, if you only capture just 1% of the visitors you're missing out on right now, how valuable would those leads be for you? Pretty easy to do, isn't it? Can you see how easy and cheap it can be to drive traffic to your contest sites? You could also use an email signature like this one that we provide to our clients. Simply add this to your staff's emails to drive more traffic, to your contest site. Contests can be a great tool to attract people to your booth at a trade show or a shopping center or somewhere, an event, and you can use these handouts and especially give them to great looking prospects that don't have time to stop. Many times people are walking by and they just kind of stiff arm you, but if you can hand them one of these things, at least they'll take it. Very inexpensive to, these things are printed out, and they walk away and you got a chance, at least you're going to get them. Otherwise, you can say, oh, well, come over here. We've got a tablet. You can enter the contest right now. So, simply use the handouts, as I said, to attract prospects to your booth so your staff have a reason to engage with them. And every one of those leads you generated is one you wouldn't have got otherwise, right? We also provide HTML email templates our clients can use with their internal database or from, use with a email list that they've bought to send prospects to the contest. And here's a great little tip. Send emails to the database of people you couldn't reach or said they weren't interested can be really done really cheaply. And because they said they weren't interested last time doesn't mean that they may not be now, especially if they enter your contest and answer your survey questions, telling you what they want and when they want it. And if you send out newsletters, simply announce your contest there and modify your survey questions to identify cross-sell and upgrade opportunities from existing customers or new prospects. Costs you nothing at all to include your contest and find the low-hanging fruit. You guys getting this? This making sense? This makes sense, right? Are you seeing how you can inexpensively leverage many of your marketing channels and customer touch points to get more leads? I mean, you're already spending the money on these channels and touch points anyway. Might as well make them work harder for you, right? And you can also leverage your different social media profiles like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter to drive traffic to your contests too. This is an example of a Facebook post using the copy and image we provide to our clients, which they can pin to their Facebook page. The image used here is different from those we provide for Facebook ad campaigns that our clients manage on their own or have us manage for them. And let me ask you, and I got to tell you, the answer will probably make your head spin like mine did when I found this out. Have a guess at how many Australians are on Facebook, actively on Facebook every month. Just put that number in the chat box now, and let's see if anybody comes close, okay? I'll just read these out as they come. Okay, first one says 5 million. Okay, we got one 7.5, another one 3, another one saying 20. Well, that would be big. Another one saying 6. Okay, well, the answer is 17 million Australians are active on Facebook every month. Now, considering Australia's population is, 24 million, that's an incredible amount of the population using Facebook every month. Isn't that incredible? Just imagine how many of these people are your ideal customers. Think you might want to get Facebook working for you? I bet you do too. Now, we'll have a look at a real live contest site that one of our clients, Epilepsy Action Australia, has been using following the Golden Leads formula and with our Done For You platform to generate new donor leads that they're been consistently closing at over 20%, as I've been telling you. And I'd like to thank their CEO and Managing Director, Carol Ireland, for generously allowing me to show you their contest site. Okay, so here we are at the contest site, and you can see Epilepsy Action Australia's logo. There's also an About Us page with their information and their privacy policy along with the contest rules. And here's the information on the entry form with regard to the contest. Nice little image there, information about the contest and what contest entrants can win. Here we have the information that they would put in. Here's the survey information. Now, there's a number of ways you can do this. In this particular case, you can have drop-down boxes. And Epilepsy did that in their case because they found that those that were under 30 weren't really good contacts for them. So they wanted to make sure that they separated them from the leads that they generated. Also, they have a variety of survey style questions, and you could do these either as single choice like they've done here, or multiple choice questions like some of our other clients do, or even have input boxes. So in this case with the survey questions, what was really interesting is that Epilepsy had 3 answers for each of the questions. Yes, maybe, tell me more, or no. In effect, what happened was 75% of the contestants that entered provided yes or maybe tell me more answers to 2 or more of their questions. So that gave their staff a huge opportunity to talk about one or two products or services with most people that they spoke with. So that really enhanced their opportunity to make higher close rates that they achieved. So that's something for you to consider with your contest as well. Also, you have a privacy statement here that talks to how the leads will be used, or the information on the leads will be used. And together with the privacy policy, if you make sure that you have the language that you need in both your privacy policy and the privacy statement, you'll be gold as far as the do not call legislation and spam acts are concerned, all right? So particularly once people tick this button, if they have read and agreed to the competition terms and conditions in the privacy statement. So once they've ticked that and entered, you're good to go, provided, of course, you get your legal team to, give you the proper language for each of those. Now, once they've entered, we come to the Refer a Friends page. And people can send invitations to their family and friends by email or load onto their social media sites to invite them to enter the contest. After this, what they've done here is they've put what we call a offers page. And that's where they loaded up two different offers that they wanted to promote to contest entrants. And you can see here that you can click to print these offers, and you can actually open them up to for people to read. So in this particular case, the important thing too is to make sure that you've got your call to action. So they've got a link, hyperlink to their website, and also a toll-free number that people can call. Next, we come to the viral offers page, and here they can, similarly to inviting people to enter the contest, they can select an offer and email it to family and friends or put it on their social media sites. So in this case, I'm not going to do that, but it's certainly something that could be done, and you should do that. You might as well get some low-hanging fruit if you can. As we come to the contact page, and here that they can suggest that they want to be contacted, there'd be the date, they can select the time they wanted to be called, and this information would be given to your team so they could schedule those calls to do it. So you can imagine if you've got somebody who was qualified, selected one of your offers, and then told you what date and time they wanted to be called, that would be a hugely valuable lead, wouldn't it? Now, you're not going to get too many of those, but those that you get will be really great. You're going to get a majority, you're going to say, I'll call you. So always make sure that you have your phone number, toll-free number for them to contact you. And these days, a lot of people are viewing their content online through mobile phones and also tablets. And of course, they may not be connected to printers. Add a box here so people can receive that offer from you. So you go from there. And the other thing to remember too is that, most people are using their phones today to access content, as I mentioned. So make sure that your contest sites have to be optimized for mobile phones. Then after they've submitted how they would contact, you come to the thank you page, let them know what's going to happen next, and also give them a chance to click to refer family and friends as well. Give them another shot to do that. So that's how the contest site looks. Pretty cool contest site, isn't it? And you can see how having the right survey questions helps Epilepsy Action Australia generate new donor leads that they've been closing at over 20%, can't you? Now, I thought many of you would be interested to hear from Carol about what she has to say about their success using this formula to generate a high converting lead. So here goes.
The most positive thing that's come about for us with using Your Lead Engine would have to be what I call the response rate, or people call the close rate. If we were using a list to telephone, we'd find typically that we'd make somewhere between 3 to 5% successful sales. If we were mailing, probably somewhere around 1%. With Your Lead Engine, it's an incredible 34+%. Your Lead Engine is a really, really cost-effective way to generate new leads. Staff are spending less time on the phone, that's less cost, and it's effective. It actually does produce warm leads that can be closed. It's also a simple platform, and I can use it across many of the channels.
Did you hear what Carol said about their 3 to 5% close rate using cold call lists compared to 34% plus? Carol mentioned that they're closing now. Pretty awesome, isn't it? Imagine if you got leads that close as well as hers do. How would that change your life for the better? Let me ask you a question. How many leads do you need to generate at a close rate of 2% to make a sale every day? Let's say you're selling your product or service for $1,000, and with a 2% close rate, you need to make 50 presentations to make one sale. And how long would that take you? A day, a couple of days? It can be pretty tough selling all that time just to make one sale, right? Pretty much what most of you or your team are doing right now, I bet, right? Now, let's look at how many leads you need to make a sale every day with a 20% close rate. Well, with a 20% close rate, 1 out of 5 leads will buy your product. And if you use Facebook ads like Epilepsy does, but only got half the clicks that they get to enter your contest, you need 50 clicks. So with 50 clicks, you get 5 leads, and with a 20% close rate, you get 1 sale, which equals $1,000 a day. And it only takes 1 hour to make that sale. Are you guys getting this? Isn't that awesome? So imagine if you generated 100 clicks a day or 200 clicks a day. How many more sales would that mean for you? Just think about how much money that is and how it would affect your life. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Another one of our clients is Ice Vacations. They were the first company to come on board with your lead engine back in 2014 and have been with us ever since. They're the number 1 sellers of cruise holidays in Australia, and last year they sold over $150 million worth of cruise vacations to the Australian public. Back then, they were using co-registration leads and still do today. Now, with their co-reg leads, they've historically been closing these leads by, between 0.5% to 2%. It started off stronger, back in 2014, but the last few years it's dropped down to 0.5%. Now, in 2018, they promoted 4 different contests in using their monthly newsletters and mainly promoted their contests on Facebook. And they generated over 47,000 qualified leads that they've been closing 480% higher than their co-reg leads. Pretty awesome results, aren't they? And, how would you like to increase your close rates on your leads by over 400%? I bet you'd love that too, wouldn't you? Here's what Kevin has to say about the reason for the incredible increase of their close rates using this Prism formula. Now, some of you are probably thinking, why would he still be using co-reg leads if he's gets such a great close rate on his contest leads, right? Well, that's a good question, and the simple answer is that he has an outbound team of over 100 agents calling over 2 shifts. So you can imagine that he is a hungry machine. And rather than just give those high closing leads to just anybody on his team, he saved those leads for his best operators, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And this is a really good point, especially if you're running a call center team. When you're using this formula, depending on your particular situation, you don't have to drop every other lead source you have. Just be sure that you give the best leads you generate to your best operators. Now, all the stuff we've covered is pretty exciting, right? Would you agree it's been time well spent? Of course, we can't cover everything in an hour, and we probably couldn't cover it all even if we had the whole day. And as promised, in a few minutes, I'm going to give you the link to download all the free resources I promised you. The Golden Leads Formula, Blueprint, the questions to ask when creating an avatar of your ideal customer, contest traffic checklist, and the budget template. But before I do that, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys feel a little like this right now? I know I talk really fast, and I guess the last 60 minutes has been fun, but some of you probably feel a little like this. Am I right? Okay, look, I totally get that. And let me ask you, how would you like it if I could actually help you implement this? Okay, just put an answer in the chat box and we'll see what they have to say. Okay, that'd be awesome. Oh, you do that too? Well, yeah. Yeah, please tell us more. Okay, well, a lot of you want information. I've got something to help you, okay? So, what I wanted to do because of that is show you a special package we put together, which is a way for you to generate high converting leads without all the costs and hassles of doing it on your own. Now, that's always awkward. Like, you're on this webinar and I have something to sell. And if you guys are okay with that, I would love to share it with you. If not, I won't. That's okay. But, if you want me to share it with you, let me know. Oh, thank you, Peter, and you too, Amanda. Well, looks like many of you do too. That's great. Okay, let me show you what we've put together. We've put together a lead generation package that includes a complete lead gen program that follows the proven golden lead formula. This special offer comes in 3 parts, and the first thing you're going to get the prize giveaway, contest rules, lottery application fees, and a branded contest site, just like the one you saw for Epilepsy Action Australia. And all this is valued at $5,950. You're also going to get the marketing collaterals, creatives to drive traffic to your contests, including both digital and print materials, including an email template, A3 size poster that you can use at your retail location or trade shows or events, DL size handouts and digital banners, for your social media profiles and websites like I showed you earlier. And we'll also supervise a Facebook ad campaign for you that includes setting up your Facebook ad manager account, working with you to select your target audience, and supplying your ads to drive traffic, and monitoring your campaign each week to make sure that it's operating properly. So with this package, you're going to get the contest lead magnet, as I said, that's $5,950 value. All the marketing collaterals that we put together for you to get printed or use the banners as you wish. That's $2,450 value, and also the Facebook traffic campaign, which is a $1,600 value. So that's the total value of $10,000. Now, who this works for: charitable organizations, financial planners, mortgage brokers, insurance agents, retailers, travel agents, obviously, health service professionals, and personal coaches, digital agencies and call centers, and basically any business that uses the Founder Sends emails to book appointments or make sales. I had 2 choices when I put this package together. The first choice was that I could make it really cheap and only charge something like $199 a month plus, an onboarding fee. And we'd sell tons of people and everybody would have access to it. And that was one option. But the problem with that option is that I can't put the time and the resources to really serve you. So instead of selling thousands of people for $199, what I decided to do was to help you by giving you more personal attention, and I decided to charge a lot more. I decided to charge more to justify our spending more time and effort with you, and I'm guessing for most of you guys, you probably want a little more effort from me too, right? So that's why I decided to charge more for what I'm selling, but not the full $10,000. And to make it easier for you, I also decided to break the price down to monthly payments over 3 months. Does that make sense? So just to recap, again, what you're going to get is the contest lead magnet. That's a $5,950 value. The marketing collaterals I spoke about before, $2,450, and the Facebook traffic campaign, managing that, that's $1,600 monthly value. I mean, that's a total of $10,000. Look, guys, I'm not going to charge $10,000 today. I could, but I'm not going to. But what I want to ask you something is, if all this package did was make your business profitable, would it be worth $10,000? Yeah, I thought so. And if all this package did was reduce the time it took to make a sale, would it be worth $10,000? Yeah, I think so too. And if all this package did was give you enough high converting leads to get an extra 2 to 3 sales a week, would it be worth it? Yeah. Now, I don't know about you, but I would trade $10,000 to get me 2 to 3 extra sales a week without having to spend around 10 hours on the phone to make each sale. I do that all day long. Does that make sense? But don't worry, I'm not going to price it at $10,000, and I'm not going to charge you a flat fee of $2,970 either, plus the $975 onboarding fee. But because you went through our educational series, I'm going to do it for only a $990 subscription fee a month over 3 months. And the only other thing to pay is the one-time onboarding fee. And I'm not going to ask you to pay me anything today. The reason for that is we're restricting this special offer to only 20 people to make sure we don't overload our staff with all the work they need to do for you on Facebook. And I also want to be sure that those we approve for this special offer have a clear idea of who their ideal customer is and can follow up their high converting leads properly to get the most out of the package. Fair enough? So grab this link and type it into your browser and head over to Calendly to schedule a 15-minute chat within the next 3 days to discuss the package, and we'll make sure we're a good fit for each other before we move forward. Fair enough? Oh, and remember, I'm restricting the intake, so if you want in, you better move quickly. Now, don't say I didn't warn you. Now, just so we're clear, I'm not asking you to drop all the lead generation activities you're doing now and put all your money into this package. What I'm suggesting is that you take some of that time and money you're spending calling your low producing leads and redirect that into this so you can reduce your telemarketing costs and speed up the time it takes to make a sale. Of course, when you find you're generating really hot leads and making more sales, you can drop off those other low performing lead sources. Does that make sense? You're getting this, right? Yeah? Okay. Okay, now you've got two decisions. Choice number one is that you can go invest. You can get started in the next couple of weeks and you can have this entire system up and running, generating high converting leads that tell you what they want to buy and when. Or you can finish this webinar right now and go to bed tonight, and tomorrow you'll sit around and do exactly the same thing you're doing now. I mean, you've got choices in your life too, and you just need to decide which choice is more exciting and what you want in your life. I mean, do you want to go back to exactly what you were doing yesterday? I'm guessing not. Otherwise, why'd you go through the educational video series and attend this webinar, right? Okay, you're trying to generate better leads, so you go through the education series and show up for the webinar. You need help, and you have two choices. You either get help and fix this problem or go back to doing what you've been doing already. I don't know about you, but nothing makes me happier than that second option. That's why I want to help you right now. So what you're going to get is that contest lead magnet worth $5,950 value, marketing collaterals with a value of $2,450, Facebook traffic campaign valued at $1,600 for a total value of $10,000. As I said before, I'm going to do it for only $990 a month over 3 months, and the only other thing to pay is the one-time onboarding fee of $975. And I'm not going to ask you to pay me anything today. So grab this link and type it into your browser and schedule a quick 15-minute chat within the next 3 days to discuss the package and then make sure we're a good fit. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. A lot of you guys have been on webinars like this in the past, right? You got excited and all fired up, and what happens the next day? Probably nothing, because most of you guys go back to your old habits, right? It's sad because I'm showing you the exact same system that Epilepsy Action Australia and Ice Vacation have been using to generate leads that they close more than 4 times higher than their other lead sources. And tomorrow, you're going to go back to your office and you're not going to do anything. The reason why is because you go back to your old habits and they're hard to break. I mean, you're going to go back to your office tomorrow, you're going to fall into your same old habits, calling the same low closing leads, getting the same old results. The only way you're going to be successful is if we break that old habit right now. And the way you're going to break that habit is by investing in this program. Now, I can come here and help you and give you all the tools you need to break that habit so you can become successful. And if you don't do that, you'll slide back into your old habit, and everything you've done through the educational video series and what we've covered in the last 60 minutes will be totally useless because of that same old habit. And the only way to break that is to invest right now and have the tools to break that habit and be able to take this to the next level. So if you're ready to take some massive action in your life and do some cool stuff and change your life for the better, and you want to join us, okay, this is what we're going to do. Schedule your approval call with me right now with this link, and we'll have a quick chat to make sure we're a good fit for each other. And if we both agree, then we'll get you started. Is that fair enough? And to get you really motivated, the first 10 people that schedule their approval call with me will have the onboard fee totally waived. That's a $975 savings. So copy this link, paste it in your browser now, and schedule your 15-minute approval call so you don't miss out. And just to recap on what you're going to get if you're one of the first 10 to schedule a call, you get the contest lead magnet. Again, that's a $5,950 value. The marketing collaterals, that's a $2,450 value. Facebook traffic campaign that we would manage for you, that's a $1,600 value, plus the bonus of the free onboarding of $975 for a total value $10,975. So you'll get $10,000 worth of value to generate your own high converting leads for only $990 a month over 3 months. And if you're one of the first 10 people to schedule your approval call, we'll waive your onboarding fee. And just to remind you, the reason we're restricting this special offer to only 20 people is to make sure we don't overload our staff with all the work they'll need to do for you on Facebook. And I also want to be sure that those we approve for this special offer have a good idea of who their ideal customer is and can follow up their high converting leads properly to get the most out of the package. Okay, fair enough? So again, grab this link, type it in your browser, and head over to my Calendly page and schedule a quick 15-minute chat within the next 3 days to discuss the package and make sure we're a good fit for each other. Now, don't say I didn't warn you. Now, I haven't forgotten about your free resources for turning up for the webinar today. Just copy and paste this link in your browser, and you can access all the free resources I promised you. The Golden Leads Formula Blueprint, questions to ask when creating an avatar of your ideal customer, the contest traffic checklist, and the budget template that you can use for either lead gen or marketing campaigns to save you a lot of time and energy. But stick around for a quick Q&A if you have a question or two to ask, and we'll cover those for you. There we go. So let's see. If you just have questions, put them in the box. And I see that we have a few already. So first question is, why is this program run over 3 months? Well, it's not just over 3 months. I mean, it can continue, but I wanted to make sure that people got involved, that they did it for 3 months, because with Facebook, it takes a little bit of time to get the cost per clicks down. You remember I mentioned Epilepsy got their cost per clicks down to 50 cents a click? Well, it took some time. Plus, it's going to be a little different for everybody else depending on their audience and things like that. So to get the real value, we need time for the first 4 to 6 weeks to really get things down pat with Facebook. Particularly to make sure that things are going there. But that doesn't mean you couldn't use all the other marketing collaterals that you'll have in other ways, as we mentioned earlier before. Okay. And next question, what happens after 3 months? Well, as I mentioned earlier, after 3 months, if you want to continue, just continue. We just do that on a month-to-month basis, and we take that from there. And okay, I'll just type in this next question. Do I share my leads with anyone? Absolutely not. You know, every contest site that we provide you and we brand for you has its own unique URL, and you can have your own unique survey questions. So you're the only one who gets that information, gets that data, and nobody else gets access to it at all, ever. Okay. Next one, I'll just type this in. How many contests can I use? Well, typically we run 1 or 2 contests every quarter. So sometimes 3. It just depends on how things overlap. And basically, just work on one contest, particularly for these 3 months. But if you started where we have one contest ending and we get another contest starting, so let's say just the way you came into the program, you're in the last month, you got 30 days of one contest, and then the next contest would be for the next 3 months. So basically, you get 2 contests in that case. Okay, so what else? Oh, okay. Again, would my contest site be branded with my logo? Absolutely. Not only with your logo, as I mentioned earlier, you would have your own survey questions, and part of us working together is make sure we work on those survey questions together to make sure you're getting the most important consumer intelligence that you can. But you also will be able to put some of your offers up on the site. If you remember when we went through epilepsy's contest site, we got to a section where there was a number of offers that people could have jumped on straight away. Well, we'd add those together for you as well. And of course, you'd have your own About Us page that would be all about you. You'd have your own privacy policy put in that as well. Okay. Okay, let me just type this in. Okay, what are the marketing collaterals? Well, excuse me, as I mentioned before, start off with first thing you're going to get is the, say, print material. So if you're running, a retail shop, you would get an A3 poster you could put in the window or somewhere in the shop. You would also get handouts that you could use at the shop to give to people to go online to enter, or if you're at trade shows or events or shopping centers, that sort of thing. I mean, you could use that poster there on an A3 board, bring people in, as people walk by, you can say, hey, why don't you come on and enter to win XYZ? And you're going to get people saying, yeah, okay, and they'll come use your tablet, or say, no, I don't have time. No worries, take this entry form, or rather handout. It tells you all about it. You can enter it online when you get home. We'd also provide you all the banners for social media, Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn. We'd also provide you with banners for pop-ups that you can use on your website. There'd be the email template that you could load into your automated email provider, be it MailChimp or Infusionsoft or somebody like that. What else is there? Oh, yeah, of course, there's the Facebook ads. We would create the copy and the images that we would use for that. Also, you could images and copy banners that you could pin to your different social media sites and things like that. So whole range of things. I mean, you get a lot for $2,500 or just under $2,500, don't you? Next thing, do I need to run Facebook ads? No, but this package we could do that. Now, if you wanted to run your own and you had that experience, well, let me know because we could probably work something out. On the price on that, take a little bit off. Here's the next thing. What happens if I don't have a Facebook account? Well, if you want to do Facebook advertising, obviously you need an account. But I mean, we could help you get that established. I mean, depending on what's involved, there may be some extra costs, because we'll have to get our staff to do that. But certainly, if you don't have a Facebook account, we can certainly get all this going. It doesn't cost you anything to set up a Facebook account. And, if you don't have one, I might be a little surprised, but a lot of businesses don't these days. And okay, it looks like one last one. Let me just type this in. What's involved with the onboarding process? Well, that's a good question, and it's very, very simple. I mean, typically what happens is we'd have a conversation to begin with. There would be an onboarding checklist form that we would send you. I mean, you would provide us with the copy that you wanted in the contest site, your privacy policy, for example, and also your About Us on your website. We would also work out together what the survey questions would be and how to, best get the answers to get more participation in all of that. With Facebook, we would have to get access to your ad account, not that we would be spending the money on there. I mean, that's up to you, what you want to spend, but I mean, we give you some recommendations on that. So a whole bunch of things there, probably, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, an hour. We could probably get it all done just with exchanging some emails. Once we have the contest site put together, we would get together with you on Zoom or Skype or something, and we would go through it, make sure we're all happy with it, and then we can launch it and off we go. So I guess that brings us to the end, and I want to thank you for your time today. And be sure you go back and grab all those free resources that I promised you for attending today. I want to thank you for your time. I hope you found it useful and valuable. And if you've got any questions, just grab my email address here, mark@yourleadengine.com. Fire me off an email, and I'd be happy to answer your question. Thank you all for coming, and we'll catch you on the other side. Bye for now.